Hi, everyone. My name is Sahar Vora, and I am the coordinator of online writing support services here at the SJSU Writing Center. We have a very special interview feature today as part of our 2024 summer blog craft course titled Write for Social Media. I'm joined today by our social media student coordinators, Johanna and Sanchita, and I'm really excited to hear about their experiences and any advice that they have for us for writing on social media. So Joanna, we'll start with you. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at the Writing Center?
Hi everyone. So I'm Johanna and I've been the social media coordinator for 2 years. I'm a recent graduate from San Jose State and I was a political science major and a humanities minor.
Awesome. Sanchita, over to you.
Hi, yeah, I just got into the social media role that I'm going to be starting in after Joanna, and I'm currently a rising senior and a marketing major and a creative writing minor.
Excellent. Really excited to hear from both of you. So let's get to our interview questions. So our first question is, how do writing skills come into play into your role as social media coordinator? How do you make sure that any written content for your social media posts, like texts and graphics, hashtags, etc., effectively conveys the intended message and engages the audience? Joanna, let's start with you.
So I don't think I'm particularly the strongest of writers, but I definitely think that it's helpful to think, at least for me, I think a lot more narratively and kind of center what story I would want to tell to like the audience at hand. And then I guess in our case, we think a lot about how we would like to better relate to our students here at SJSU and finding language that is more current and more approachable rather than something that's too professional or kind of too stuffy always helps keep audiences engaged. And especially with coming up with hashtags, you want to keep it short and relevant rather than like kind of like unnecessarily trying to just like attention grab, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Awesome. Sanchita, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that Joanna said, but I think definitely writing skills do play a big role um, in like this job and just in like the marketing industry in general. Um, and yeah, personally, I just make sure that all the written content for our posts like maintain a friendly tone. And I think it's really important to use keywords as well. And yeah, like Joanna said, just keeping it short and concise, I think is the best way to go.
Great. That's really good insights from both of you. So anyone can take this question, but do you have any strategies or how do you balance visual elements and written content in your graphic design work to create a cohesive and compelling message?
I guess I could start. In regards to graphic design work, I think I try to keep like text on the page shorter, but I'm definitely guilty of like just trying to get as much information as I can so that like the first thing that when somebody looks at the page, like they get everything. But that's not necessarily like the best uh way to go about it. So I feel like a good way to fall back on it as well is like to um, utilize the captions a lot because I feel like we tend to focus too much on the graphic and then like we forget, oh, we have all the space to like still convey our message and still be able to reach out to the public.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm actually like kind of the opposite, I guess. I really like the visual elements, especially for social media platforms like Instagram, because it's mostly like visually focused. So yeah, I kind of rely on the visual elements um to like catch someone's eyes and then convey like the message through, just keeping it to the important information like the dates of a certain event or the topic that we'll be discussing. And yeah, even the captions, I tend to keep it more short for most platforms.
Yeah, it's great to see that there's two different kinds of approaches, and I'm sure multiple approaches that people can take to how they approach writing and social media content. And based on your audience or who event or who you're trying to pitch to, it just has to be a different approach every time. So I think that's really an interesting observation. All right, so our second question, what do you consider when creating or scripting video content to make sure it's both entertaining and informative for students and others? Sanchita, let's start with you on this one.
So I don't have too much experience just yet. with creating or like scripting video content, but I think a really good first step is just considering the target audience, which at the Writing Center, it's usually our students. And just I think it's important to focus on what kind of content is currently trending, either on Instagram, TikTok, and then yeah, similar to all our other written content, just keeping it short and ensuring that people get the information that you want them to receive. And yeah, I feel like now people have very short attention spans. So I feel like keeping the video itself pretty short and just to the point is good.
Joanna, would you like to chime in?
For me, like I guess because the video content, like the turnaround is much quicker. I like starting off with like what the topic is at hand. For example, like if we utilize one of our blog posts, I try to kind of keep that in mind when I'm like going through social media and see if like that topic from the blog post can match any of the current trends. But I think for the most part, it's I like using popular songs more and then just kind of like translating it over to whatever blog post we have rather than like having that like a TikTok trend that's super trendy. Because I feel like sometimes songs can be a little bit more, I guess, like timeless in a sense. And like if you look back on it, it's not as like, oh, I don't really understand like the reference, or I don't understand like what was going on like a couple weeks ago or like a month ago or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really great as well. All right, so coming to our sort of last question here. And anyone who would like to go first can go first, but what advice do you have for anyone who's interested in using social media to help craft an online image or a brand?
I can go first, I guess. So yeah, I definitely think social media is like the place to start. And I would just suggest with, starting like by creating a short like mission statement, just so you know what your message is that you want to convey. And also just identifying your target audience. I think a really big part about social media and creating that brand is you do have to be consistent with your posting and just really stick to the brand that you want to establish, including like tone, color scheme, etc. So I think that's kind of the best place to start.
I totally agree with Sanchita in the sense that you have to have like a really strong brand identity. And I feel like you have to like really stick with it. And I feel like if you change up a lot or like insincerely, then it would come off as unrelatable or kind of out of touch. So I feel like keeping with the brand consistency and like keeping up with posts can definitely help make you more relatable and more approachable, and in turn more people would want to kind of like seek the services that you're putting forth into the social media sphere.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much for, joining me today and sharing your insights on social media content. It's such an integral part, I think, of brand identity, marketing, and how people present themselves to the world. So it's great to hear about how we can use writing skills that we've learned here at college to kind of enhance and help us to, be successful in that online space as well. So our craft course will be running through the end of this week, and check it out on our blog, The Right Attitude, for other posts on writing in academia versus social media, learning about digital literacy in the social media space. And of course, our interview will be featured on the blog as well, so you can access that there or on our YouTube channel anytime. Thank you all so much, and hope to see you at the Writing Center soon.
Thank you. Check it out.